Alright, today we are reviewing area and perimeter. It was a skill you learned in the 4th grade. And today we're answering the questions, what were area and perimeter again, and how are they related? Well, you'll remember that perimeter is the distance around a space or around a figure. You'll need to jot that information into your notebook, and then let's take a look at this figure. We've got a rectangle that is 8 feet by 4 feet. Now, in your grade, you can say, okay, if one side's 8 feet, then the other side's 8 feet. If you're older, your teachers are going to tell you without these little handy slash marks, you can't prove it. So we're going to put those in. This is equal to that because there's only one slash mark. Here's 4 feet. In 4th and 5th grade, you can kind of assume that that's also 4 feet if it doesn't say a different measure. But without these right there, your older grade teachers will tell you you can't prove it. So, the way to figure out a perimeter is to add it all up because it's this distance plus that distance plus that distance plus that distance. So one way to do it is to take our 8 plus 8 plus 4 plus 4. And 8 and 8 is 16, 16 plus 4 is 20, 20 plus 4 is 24. Always remember to label. Another way of doing it, and the formula that's reflected in your notebook, is to say 8 plus 4 and then double it. So another way to do it is to do 8 plus 4 is 12 times 2 still equals 24 feet. Okay, 2 ways of getting to the same place. Questions about fencing, about wallpaper border, or any kind of border for that matter, are perimeter questions. So when you're looking at a word problem in particular, you need to stop and say, okay, am they asking me for the space around? Does that make sense to do that? Or are they asking for the space in the middle? By the way, some of you look at me funny when I mention wallpaper border. So I put a picture there for you. It was like big in the 80s. Ask your mom, they'll tell you. But here's a picture of this really cute bedroom, and the arrow is pointing to a border that goes all the way around her room. Alright, so what's area? Area is the amount of surface something covers, and it's recorded in square units. You want to get that into your notebook. Now we're taking the same rectangle, and this time, instead of measuring the distance around, I want to know how much space it covers. Alright, the formula you'll remember is simply length times width. Now remember, it can't be, this times that, because that's length times length. Length times width means the side that's touching the other side. So in this case, 8 times 4 equals 32. Now remember, we're going to record it in square feet. Why? Because I multiplied 8 times 4, but I also multiplied feet times feet. So you know your exponents, something double times itself is squared. So that's why it's squared feet. Questions about carpeting, rugs, yard space, like tile and other kinds of flooring, and paint are usually area questions. Alright, so let's take a look at a couple word problems. This is in your notebook on the top left. Tina needs to buy a custom frame for a picture from her trip. The length of the picture is 8 inches and the width is 6 inches. How many square inches of glass will she need? Well, the first thing I need to figure out is this an area problem or is this a perimeter problem? Okay, excuse the really ugly drawing here. It's hard to do with a digital pen. Okay, so we've got 8 inches here, and we've got 6 inches here. And when I first started reading this problem, I'm thinking, oh, picture frame, it's going to be perimeter. But they didn't ask us for how much frame is she going to need. They asked for how much glass is she going to need. Well, last time I checked, glass went all the way across the picture. So, another hint, square inches. They're asking for square units. They're asking for area. So this is definitely an area question. And we're going to take our 8 times 6. 6 times 8 is 48. Inches times inches makes inches squared. And our answer is 48 square inches. Here's another. Jaimie is putting up a fence around her garden. How much fencing will she need if the length of the fence is 12 feet and the width is 9 feet? Well, we have a garden. I'm going to pretend that I can make a straight line here. We've got 12 feet and we've got 9 feet. Now we're asking for a fence. Fences go around. If it wouldn't make any kind of sense to fence the center of something. That would just be a big pile of fence. So again, fencing, perimeter, and it didn't ask for square anything. So in this case, this is 12, this is 12, this is 9, this is 9. And you can add them all up if you want to, but I'm just going to do 12 plus 9 times 2. 12 plus 9 is 21, and 21 times 2 is 42. And this time I didn't multiply feet, so it's just plain old feet. And my answer is 42 feet. Now, some of you will remember from 4th grade that occasionally we'd throw a question at you that seemed kind of backwards. The area of Kaitlyn's room is 132 feet. If the length of the room is 12, what is its width? Well, we know we're dealing with area because the problem says so. And here's her room, drawn badly. Wow, that's even worse than usual. We know the length of the room is 12. We don't know its width, and together we multiply them and we get 132 feet. So we know that 12 times some number equals 132. If I multiplied to get this piece, I've got to do the opposite function, which is divide. So I need to take 132 and divide that by 12. 12 doesn't go into 1, but it does go into 13 one time. Subtract, I get 1, which is less than 12. Bring down, oh look, it's 12. That's easy. 1 times 12 is 12, and I'm done. Okay? The area of her room is 132 square feet. That means this side is 12 feet and this side is 11 feet. The total perimeter of Jalen's yard is 180 feet. If the length of the yard is 50 feet, what is its width? Okay, well, he's got a big old yard. And this side's 50, which makes this side 50. And together, it all comes up to 180. Okay. Well, we know that 50 plus 50 is 100, so that's nice and round. But I don't know the width of one side or the width of the other side. Alright, let's simplify this. Let's take this 100 out of here. And we know that width plus width equals 180 minus 100 is going to give me 80. 2 times the width gives me 80. 80 divided by 2 is 40. Double check, does it all add up to 180? 40 plus 50 is 90. 90 taken twice is 180. Bingo! We are under control. So today we answered these questions. What were area and perimeter again? Area is the surface that something covers. Perimeter is the distance around a figure. How are they related? Again, using the same numbers. We're going to add up the numbers around to find the outside. If I need to find the inside, I multiply one side times the other. That gets it done. Have an awesome afternoon.